Welcome to a special edition of Stay a While, recorded live on Radio Row at Super Bowl 59. I'm your host, Tommi Vincent, and we are going to be hearing some dynamic conversations with phenomenal guests here on Radio Row. So take a seat, get comfortable, and stay a while. This episode is sponsored by the House of Joy. Hi, everyone. It's Tommi Vincent, your host of Stay a While podcast. And today I have joining me at the table, Swin Cash, Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations and Team Development for the New Orleans Pelicans. Welcome to Stay a While, Swin.
Thank you, Tommi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You and I have been trying to make this happen for a minute now, so I'm so grateful and honored that you took some time out of your schedule to join me here for a conversation.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
So what's going on? Tell me what's happening in your world.
Well, I don't know why the stars aligned. So this week, sitting here, enjoying, a lot of people are enjoying the Super Bowl week here in New Orleans, and I'm happy they're here in our city, but it's also NBA trade deadline for me, ended yesterday. So between trying to run and get honored at an event, shout out to LaTanya Story, amazing event, the Women's Sports Power Brunch, every Super Bowl, amazing. And then I was running back and forth in and out on calls, and people were like, what's going on? Media people that were there. And I'm like, oh, nothing, just working. And so it's done, and now I'm finally able to excel. So I'm excited to be here and have this conversation with you.
Good, and congratulations on that acknowledgement.
Thank you.
And you do a lot, you've done a lot, and you are very decorated. And as someone that is a legend in sports in general, so not even just a classification, male, female, but in general, people know about you. They know what you have accomplished. Tell us about the road to your success.
Yes. And I'm so happy you asked this question, because a lot of times, I think we were talking even earlier before we got started, and the one thing I always say is that people want to know about the wins and they're excited for you, but less people want to understand about the journey. And so I remember back in 2012, I had wrote my first book called Humble Journey, More Precious Than Gold. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I wrote that book, it was based on a 4-year kind of, not struggle, but evolving of myself. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times in sports, every year, every athlete, and you know this, Tommi, every athlete thinks every year, this is our year to win. Mm-hmm. Well, there's only one team, maybe one person that can win and be standing at the pinnacle, right? And so what I learned is that the humbleness and the journey, like, what are the lessons you've learned in the losses? Mm-hmm. And that's what my career has been. It's just not so much just celebrating the wins, but making sure we're acknowledging the losses you go through, because you learn the most in those times.
Mm-hmm. I was just at an event yesterday, and one of the things that I talked about to the audience was sometimes you win, always you learn.
Absolutely.
And in the journey, if you don't focus in on the process and what's happening along the journey, then you miss the opportunity to learn when everything isn't going right, right? Because you know that from just the things that you've accomplished as a professional athlete, an Olympian, and now as an executive, there's not always just win. You get you may get no, and then boom, a yes pops up. So when you are in that journey and you are learning, how do you keep yourself encouraged when the yes you wanted is a no?
I think one of the things is so important for anyone, and I've taken what I've learned in sports and brought it into not only corporate world, being an entrepreneur, but also being an executive in the NBA, is that you have to have a foundation that's outside of what you do. Mm-hmm. Like, I know who I am and I know whose I am. Mm-hmm. And so having that foundation and kind of my faith and my family and what's important to me allows me to show up as my authentic self every single day. Mm-hmm. So if you're doing that, you're trying to be the best you and not really chasing or worrying about where your destination is going to go. Because every day I'm just getting better every day. And I said this at a conference. I said, The currency is, my currency is the equity I put in people. And that is how I kind of live my life, is like what I'm pouring into you, what I'm giving back to, whether it's to society, whether it's to my children, that right there is my equity. Like that's what you're building up, those relationships. And so when times get hard and you're working and you're like either losing, you didn't make that big deal, something didn't go right at work, you know you have your tribe. Who are those people in that foundation that you go back to that's kind of lifting you up? And I think we all need to find our tribe and our support that we need, whether it's in a corporate space, whether you're an entrepreneur, because you're going to need that level of support and a strong foundation.
Have you found that as you have accelerated in your career and elevated in your career, have you found that there are a lot of transactional relationships versus people really looking to engage, like you're talking about this group of people that you are able to surround yourself with that are encouraging you and elevating you, and that tends to be like a space of, this is my starting five. Like these are my, whoever it is, they got me. But in the professional space, we also need some level of that where, you know, you have people that are going to champion you, that are going to encourage you. What has your experience been there? Is there a lot of transactional relationships? Are people still interested in being relational?
People need to get more interested in being relational. I say this as sometimes the workforce is coming in younger, and like you, I have a lot of young people at times that, you know, not only are we pouring into, and they asked about mentorship, and I tell them it's great to find a mentor, but there's stages throughout your career where you need an advocate. And there's a difference between a mentor and an advocate, because an advocate is somebody who not only understands like where you're trying to go, but is speaking about you in rooms that you'll never be in, that is looking for opportunities to position you in that'll help you throughout your career. And so for me, I've had male and female allies, advocates. I've had mentors. And so that's important, how you're building out your tribe. But this, I will say this, Tommi. Everybody has a seat on your bus. It's up to you where they sit. So in the workplace, there may be people, and you may be working with somebody every single day, and that person may not like you. They may not like how you dress, how you look, how you show up, and that's okay. That is a them thing. And a lot of times you think that I can't have a certain relationship. You can have a professional relationship. I tell people this all the time. I have played with people that didn't like me, and I didn't really care too much about them either. But when you have a common goal and you're between those lines and you're in that workplace or you're on that team, you are working towards a destination. That's a common thread. When you're in a workspace, find the common thread between you and that other person and know that you guys are heading in the right direction. And when work is over, there's certain people, you and I may not break bread after work. You and I may not have great conversations, but we make magic in the office because we have a common thread and a common goal. And that's where you have to understand, where's the relationship? Where's that person on your bus? And you have to be okay with it. We give people too much power of not either being like us, enjoying the relationships how we enjoy them. We have to also evolve and understand it, and especially in today's society, there are levels to this. There are levels to it. And the more you understand the politics of it, the better you're going to be protecting your mental health and wellness, the more you're going to be able to succeed in those spaces.
I often refer this is for something I do for myself personally. I think about, I think of King Solomon.
Yes.
And when it came time for him to build the temple, he was able to do that because there was peace. However, when David was king, there was always war, there was turmoil. And so he didn't have the opportunity to build because of the constant strife. And so I always think to myself, if I'm like in a work relationship, if I'm in a personal relationship, where am I sitting at internally? Do I feel agitated? Am I in a position to build? Because if I'm not, I need to figure that out so that I am able to get to the place of peace so I can build. If we're not building, we're not creating. And if we're not creating, we're not growing and we're not evolving. And sometimes I believe that part of our inability to have success is because we stay in this constant state of strife. So if I'm in a workplace and I'm not in a good relationship with you and I'm not feeling you, so I'm fighting with you all the time. Even if we're not having an exchange internally,
talk about it.
I'm like, I'm not feeling that person. So now I'm not building with that person. We still have a responsibility to get the job done. And to your point, we don't have to be in love. We don't have to even be in like, but we have to have common respect.
Respect. That's
so
the word.
We can get the job done.
That's the word right there. Respect. If people, I say this, I just can't be in a place where the level of respect is not, that has to be equal. That has to be equal, because you're talking about human to human, and we're losing too much of that. We need more of that. And so for me, I have certain boundaries that, one, have to be respected. I'm going to respect yours, but also for myself. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that the way that my brain works, and I was talking actually to my therapist about this, and if you are a professional and executive and you don't have a therapist, that's a problem, okay? Let me just tell you that right now. Some people don't want to talk about it, but you got it. Life is life-in, and you got to have some place to be able to dump and to grow and work on your strengths, your weaknesses, all those things. So shout out to my therapist, because I love her. And we were having a conversation, and I said to her, I said, the way my brain works, in chaos, I'm just good. Because you know why I'm good is because the way that I think and the way God set me up is the problem solving part of it. I want to figure out how to get out of it. So if I'm in a storm, I'm a fighter. It's the sports side of me that comes out, and it's like, all right, how do we move and get out of this? And so you want to figure out, how can I help this person on the team? How can I do that? And how can we move forward? If I don't feel that energy when we're in chaos and I feel people retreat, that tells me a lot about the team I have around me. Because when you hire, you think when the worst of worst happens or when things are not going well, you want everybody to be in that foxhole and start moving forward. And so I think the character shows and a lot of times when there's chaos. So I have peace in the chaos because I know, like, okay, here we go. It's almost like a kid in a candy store where I'm like, all right, let's problem solve. Let's get through this.
It's going down. What we going to do?
What we going to do? I don't know about retreat. See, because the way I grew up, and this is something that you probably could understand as well, is when you're younger and you're growing up, that's all I knew. Like, I came from, my mom's one of 12. I had 75 first cousins. So we played sports and we competed. I went to school, like, I have 8 guy cousins that's the same age. So everything was like a competition, right?
So everybody didn't get a participation trophy?
No, we didn't do the participation trophies. And then it was the passive aggressive coming past where my uncle was like, oh, so you let him win. You let him win. So it was bringing out all those things in us, which I love.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing about it is that we continue to take those seeds. So I have 2 boys. I have a 7 and a 4-year-old. And what I pour into them, it's like when I see them stand at the bottom of the steps, and I'm going to tell this, hopefully I get time to tell this story real quick. My older son, 7, stand at the top of the step, and he's my caring, empathetic, loving child. And then my 4-year-old is like, oh, he's like the fierce one a little bit, but they love each other. So he's at the bottom of the steps, my younger one. I'm at the top of the step with my older son. And he's like, oh, Sainty, can you help me? The younger one at the bottom. So my son's like, oh, okay, sire. So he walks back down the steps. By the time he gets to the 2nd step, the 4-year-old takes off up the steps because he wanted a competitive advantage. And he got to the top of the steps and first and beat him, Tommy. I looked at him and I said, you're going to be all right. You're going to be.
You know, that second one always is.
I wasn't prepared. That first one gets you thinking, oh, I could have like 3 or 4 kids. Oh my goodness, these babies. And then that second one came and he said, hello, I'm here. I have arrived. But yes, so we try to build character. I think it's important. People sometimes especially young people that are out there that are listening, and moms that are listening, because I know you have a great following of female followers and audience. Moms, it's okay to allow our kids to learn and sit in when they're uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's okay. We can't fix it all the time. We have to allow them to go through it, because I promise you, if my mom, if she wouldn't have let me go through some of the stuff I went through in life, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma used to say it, then my mama started saying it. You're gonna have to learn how to crawl before you can walk. And in that moment, I'm like, oh no, I'm walking. But then eventually you hit that wall and you're like, oh, let me crawl.
I'm back down on the ground.
Yes.
So before I let you go, tell us about She's Got Time.
Yes. She's Got Time. And hopefully maybe you'll join us there this summer. We are taking our show on the road to Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And so She's Got Time is a platform. We also have an app that people can go and download the app and become a member. When I retired and went into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, as I was writing my speech, I had been really kind of in a fasting moment in deep prayer and saying, God, this is one chapter of my life closing. I've done a lot of philanthropy. People ask for a lot of your time, but I wanted to be more intentional. And as I started thinking about what would I want as someone that has a career in sports, I came up with She's Got Time. And so what we try to do is bring together women across all platforms of sports, whether you have a podcast, whether you're at a brand, whether you're at a league, whether you're at a team, it does not, whether you're an attorney, you're in finance, you're an entrepreneur, whatever business touches sports, we want you to become a member of our community. We believe in intergenerational connectivity. We believe that the OGs have a lot to share with even the entry level women that are coming into sports. And we believe that sharing information is the way that we're going to continue to grow women in sports, but at the same time position them for their pivot. Because sometimes we get into a job and we think, I'm at this team, I'm at this league, I'm going to be at this job for the next 10, 15 years, and this is where I'm going to stay. But what you don't realize is sometimes that pivot means more money, more opportunity. How can I get to a team? And women don't understand transferable skill sets. Yeah. And so that's what we're building within She's Got Time. We have our like we like to call it the Super Bowl, is our summit that happens July 14th and 15th.
And that's in Vegas.
That's going to be in Vegas. Okay. And then throughout our app, we are constantly giving women information, having opportunities for them to learn. We have mental health and wellness sessions, meditations that go on. And so I wanted to connect us through in-person activities, but also through our app and through technology. And so we're going to meet you where you are. We want you to come in. It doesn't matter if you are somebody that's just starting out in the workforce, or if you're somebody that's a CEO. We run the gamut, and that's important to me. And I stand on that, because as we see more and more things get cut and us not part of the conversation, we have to figure out how we stay together in order to build us back up.
I love it. So, listen, before the weekend is out, I'm going to be a part of that community.
Thank you.
Absolutely. To your point, we're stronger together. We are stronger together. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any words of encouragement for our listening community? About anything too, because
I would share this. I know you're tired. I know right now it feels like the world's heavy, because I feel it. But I will say this. In every storm and every chaos that happens with rain, with the weather, the sun always comes out. And women have a way of connecting, of being that light in room and spaces. And our kind of saying for She's Got Time this year is all bets on you. So I want women to start betting on you, betting on investing in yourself, betting on investing in your mental health and wellness, whatever it is for you to be strong, because we're the backbone of this family, we're the backbone of this country. And I truly believe, even though we feel tired, we are going to pour into ourselves, bet on ourselves, and then we're going to be able to be the light that everybody else needs. So So that's my words.
Thank you. You heard it, Swin said. Trouble don't last always.
Hey, not at all.
But thank you so much.
Cometh in the morning.
Yeah, yes, it does. Yes, it does. I thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join me today. And just know you always have a seat at my table.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Tommi.
I hope you felt the love and connection in today's conversation. Every woman you heard from has faced the impossible and emerged stronger. This is your personal invitation to stay a while longer at TommiV.com. That's TOMMIV.com for more inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. And let's not forget your belly. You're always welcome at my table. Please be sure to subscribe, make yourself at home, and stay a while.